Vice President Harris, in December, you said, quote, Israel has a right to defend itself, but you added, quote, it matters how, saying international humanitarian law must be respected. Israel must do more to protect innocent civilians.
That is big if true, because when has Israel ever followed international law? It's not like this is well documented or anything, but, you know, as Americans, we're supposed to be left in the dark and not know about, you know, the flagrant violations Israel has committed against Palestinians, completely condemned by the entire world community.
You said that 9 months ago. Now an estimated 40,000 Palestinians are dead. Nearly 100 hostages remain. Just last week, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu,
by the way, it's more like 300,000 plus,
said there's not a deal in the making. President Biden has not been able to break through the stalemate. How would you do it?
She's so look, she's like, damn. She's like, this is the question I've been waiting on. She's about to turn into a stone cold Kamala. Let's see what she says.
Well, let's understand how we got here. On October 7th.
Gotta go back to October 7th. But don't forget, history, that's how we got here. Listen to how salacious that lie is. Well, listen to how we got here. October 7th, guys. History begins October 7th. Let me invoke October 7th, please. I plead October 7th. Oh, all right. That's all you had to say. You're cooked. That's it. Your answer is done. We get it. Move on.
Hamas.
Here we go. Repeating lies. Let's see if she says that Hamas raped women. Probably she's going to say they beheaded babies or beheaded people. None of this is true.
A terrorist organization.
Wrong. Not a terrorist organization.
Slaughtered 1,200 Israelis.
Wrong. They did not slaughter 1,200. Most of the people that were killed on October 7th were ordered to be killed by Israel and were mowed down at a concert by Israeli gunship attack helicopters. And there's even literal video evidence of this, okay? But we're going to keep lying because AIPAC greases those wheels, baby.
Many of them young people who were simply attending a concert. Women were...
Right. They were attending a concert and Israel savagely killed them.
Horribly raped. And so...
There it is. She's lying again. Lying to the American people. Unashamedly lying to us. Repeating the lie that's even been debunked since December by the New York Times, by our very own New York Times, and then subsequently by even the Israeli Times, the Haaretz, and now every major publication that has reported on this matter has agreed that there is no conclusive evidence of graping on October 7th. There's zero evidence for it, but there it is. She's going to keep lying. That's great. Yeah, and that's another point, is that Shadeh Timin, or however you say it, the terror camp that's in South Israel, right outside of Gaza, they have video evidence of graping a Palestinian detainee. And what do? They put the Israeli soldier on TV and make him a celebrity in Israel. But she's not going to mention that. October 7th, that's the graping. The great grapening of October 7th, which never happened.
I said then, I say now. Israel has a right to defend itself. We would.
I love the way that she like pairs her sentences together, because it's like, wait, are you all there? Israel has the right to defend itself. We would. I know what she's trying to say. It just sounds weird.
And how it does so matters, because
she's said that word for word. She's got this baked in response. I mean, obviously, because it's not like the first time she's answered this. Another example, I think, of a U.S. president with the U.S. media complicit, with the corporate establishment complicit, violating humanitarian and international laws by simply just saying that Israel has the right to defend itself. Geneva Conventions of 1949 make very clear that occupied people have a right to defend themselves, and the occupying force has no right to defend itself. This is just a blatant lie once again, and you know, it's so easily adopted by everyone that's just more inclined to not look into it. You know, we're supposed to be the leader of the free world, and we are outliers. The rules-based order that we have imposed upon the rest of the world, we don't even follow it. We are a rogue state. We are the Godfather, and what happens to the little shopkeepers when they don't make rent? They get their kneecaps busted and they get their shop set ablaze. We have no inclination to follow international law. We can openly flaunt it, we can veto it, we can do whatever we want because we're America. And you see that. You see that same attitude embodied with the rhetoric of these two candidates. Just a foregone conclusion that it's axiomatic that Israel has the right to defend itself. No need to look. America said so. That's why when Bibi Netanyahu gets in front of the cameras, he has to say that, you know, well, United States has our back, because that's the only thing that matters.
It is also true, far too many innocent Palestinians have been killed.
She said the same thing 2 months ago. Her answer has not changed.
Children.
And it won't change, and we know that.
Mothers. What we know is that
She's trying to appeal to the hearts and minds of the American people. Say, I get both sides, okay? I get it. Too many slaves have died, but the slave owners have rights too, okay? The slave owners can defend themselves. The Nazis are capable of defending themselves. They have a right to do so. Okay, yes, far too many Jews have died, but Nazis have a right to defend themselves. Let's make that clear. And by the way, we've also just signed another $20 billion to the Nazis. But we're working hard for that ceasefire. Don't get it twisted, okay? Make no mistake. Let me say this clearly and plainly. Yes, far too many Jews have died, but the Nazis have a right to defend themselves, and we're going to keep giving them more weapons.
this war must end. It must end immediately, and the way it will end is we need a ceasefire deal and we need the hostages out. And so we will continue to work around the clock.
Okay, and then for the little liberal doves in the audience, they say, you see, she said we need a ceasefire. Okay, I'm sold. She said it. She said we needed a ceasefire. So therefore, everything's good. I'm going to vote Kamala.
Work around the clock, also understanding that we must chart a course for a two-state solution.
There it is. Roll out that tried and true euphemism, the two-state solution. We need to work for a path to peace. They've been saying path to peace. I mean, when did the path to peace rhetoric come into the American government lexicon? I really want to know. Was it in the 60s? Was it in the 70s? Was it in the 50s? There's a super cut out there of just every time a U.S. president says the two-state solution or the path to peace, it's so funny though how we're being so played quite openly, and people don't even give a shit. They're tied up and with their apathy. They just think nothing's going to change. So what's the point? Let them say their line and keep doing the same things.
And in that solution, there must be security for the Israeli people and Israel, and in equal measure for the Palestinians.
The slave owners must have better walls and encampments for the slaves so that the slaves don't get out, but also the slaves have rights too.
But the one thing I will assure you always, I will always give Israel the ability to defend itself, in particular as it relates to Iran and any threat that Iran and its proxies pose to Israel.
Okay, well, again, that is a war crime, so you're basically admitting under international law, and actually under U.S. law, Kamala is admitting that she will continue aiding and abetting a country that under international law, according to the ICC and the ICJ, is in a legal apartheid state with no legitimacy and should be blockaded for military aid. So she's saying, no, fuck that. We're going to keep sending weapons. We're going to keep sending money. Israel would not exist without the United States. Anyone that doesn't know that, you should know that. Under Leahy law, she's admitting that she's complicit in a crime against humanity.
But we must have a two-state solution where we can rebuild Gaza, where the Palestinians have security, self-determination, and the dignity they so rightly deserve.
President Trump, how would you negotiate with Netanyahu and also Hamas in order to get the hostages out and prevent the killing of more innocent civilians in Gaza?
If I were president, it would have never started. If I were president, Russia would have never, ever, I know Putin very well, he would have never, and there was no threat of it either, by the way, for 4 years, have gone into Ukraine and killed millions of people when you add it up, far worse than people.
As much as I hate him, Trump has a point of just attacking, it's a tactical point here to just attack the track record. I mean, Biden's and Kamala's indefensible track record of starting wars, of a NATO expansion. I mean, he's all guilty of this too, but it happened under Biden's watch, so it's a political football, and he can use that.
People understand what's going on over there. But when she mentions about Israel, all of a sudden, she hates Israel. She wouldn't even meet.
She, what? Hates Israel? Really, Trump? For once, I agree with Kamala. She's like, what? I love Israel. I love Israel. Here it comes, the moment we've been all waiting for, where the Democratic Party candidate and the Republican Party candidate argue over who loves Israel more. Who's going to win this time? Let's see.
With Netanyahu, when he went to Congress to make a very important speech, she refused to be there because she was at a sorority party of hers. She wanted to go to the sorority party.
You see, and sorority party, because she's a girl. Girls just want to have fun. What is she? She can't be president. A little misogynist coded.
Israel. If she's president, I believe that Israel will not exist within 2 years from now. And I've been pretty good at predictions.
please. I hope that's the case. That is a damn fine prediction. I really hope so. Man, if that's the case, sign me up.
I hope I'm wrong about that one. She hates Israel. At the same time, in her own way,
Maybe we should elect Kamala because Trump says Israel won't exist in 2 years.
she hates the Arab population because the whole place is going to get blown up. Arabs, Jewish people, Israel will be gone. It would have never happened. Iran was broke under Donald Trump. Now Iran has $300 billion because they took off all the sanctions that I had. Iran had no money for Hamas or Hezbollah or any of the 28 different spheres of terror, and they are spheres.
Terra. Now there's 28. Oh my God. It grows exponentially by day. I thought it was the octopus of terror. First it was like we're in a war on 7 fronts. And then the 7 became the octopus of terror. Now it's 28, what does he say? 28 spheres of terror. The 28 spheres of terror. Join us for our next episode. Part 3, the 28 spheres of terror. Oh my God. We are not a serious country.
Spheres of terror. Horrible.
Terra, yeah, terabyte.
Terror. They had no money. It was a big story, and you know it. You covered it very well, actually. They had no money for terror. They were
Who's Terra? I think I knew a Terra in high school.
broke. Now they're a rich nation, and now what they're doing is they're spreading that money around. Look at what's happening with the Houthis and Yemen.
Houthis. I like the way. Can we get him to say Houthis one more time? It tickles my soul.
Look at what's going on in the Middle East. This would have never happened. I will get that settled and fast, and I'll get the war with Ukraine and Russia ended. If I'm president-elect, I'll get it done before even becoming president.
Vice President Harris, he says you hate Israel.
That's a bold statement. But too bad, like, Russia's already won, right? The damage has already been done. It's going to become a frozen conflict. A freezy pop. It's going to become a frozen conflict in 2025. Houthis, yeah. Houthis like Hootie and the Blowfish. We are so screwed. I agree, Maria. But hey, at least it's the lesser of two evils.
Absolutely not true. I have my entire career and life supported Israel and the Israeli people. He knows that.
I used to plant trees for Israel as a kid, for the Jewish National Fund. Okay, nobody loves Israel more than Ma.
He's trying to, again, divide and distract from the reality, which is, it is very well known that
how much I love Israel. You see, they're fighting again.
Donald Trump is weak and wrong on national security and foreign policy. It is well known that he admires dictators, wants to be a dictator on.
You shook hands with the worst dictator in the entire world right now. He's literally a war criminal wanted by the international courts, and you shook hands with him and did a photo op and a press briefing. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, in what world do we have to... In what world do we take this person seriously? I mean, it's just all a spectacle. I need to scoop my brain out so I can carry on with this nonsense.
Nixon ordered Cambodian genocide. Clinton sent cruise missiles to Sudan, people died. Obama gave the orders to do drone strikes.